Moore, Bowser, and Rios coming up to the plate for the Cardinal. And starting things off will be the freshman from Sacramento, Malcolm Moore. The freshman, 3 home runs already this year. Batting .286, 6 driven in. 6 first pitch for a strike. Something about these freshmen in this Cardinal program as of late. Of course, that's what happens when you bring in such talented recruiting classes as David Esker has been able to do these last couple of years. Thinking about the impact Brady Montgomery made last year. Of course, Drew Bowser the year before that. It doesn't matter what class you are. This team is so talented all the way around. And I believe that hit Moore. It did. That's the second time Malcolm Moore has been hit with a pitch this weekend. Just like Rice, Stanford has found a way to get their leadoff hitter on base to start this second inning, and now Drew Bowser comes to the plate. Big swing on the first pitch, came up empty. If he would have made contact with that, the remaining snow on top of the Berkeley Hills might have come down. The 1 inside corner gets the call. Crazy to believe that Drew Bowser already in his junior year. And a good eye there as that just misses. You could tell the Rice contingency here wanted that call. Fairly good amount of blue and white over on that third base side. 1-2, lined up the middle, hard driving, and it's going to fall. It fell right down in front of Walsh. Everybody's going to be on their horses. Here comes Moore. He's going to get the wave around. He's going to come to score. Stopping at third is Drew Bowser. An RBI triple for Drew Bowser as Connor Walsh tried to make a diving attempt in center field and came up short. You know what coaches always say, if you're going to make that diving attempt, you better be sure that you can make it, especially out in the outfield. For Drew Bowser, triple number 1 on the year. Run number 1 of the afternoon for the Cardinals. They have the 1-0 lead. And now Alberto Rios will step in. Rios hitting .438 to start the year off. Coming into the year, played 7 games his sophomore year as a pinch hitter. Has some Pac-12 ties in the family. His cousin Frankie, back in 2017, was selected in the 17th round by the Boston Red Sox as he played for the Trojans of USC in college. Now behind in the count 1-2. Fastball outside. Stanford's only scored first once in this young season. They had that game won. Of course, that was a big claim to fame from them a year ago. More times than not, whenever they would score first, they would get the win. Another fastball misses outside. Good at bat so far from Alberto Rios as he works the count full. Bowser is at third. Moore has already come across the score. And Rodriguez ends up losing Rios. Good plate appearance from him to earn the walk after being down 1-2. So the Cardinal will have runners on the corners as Charlie Somm will come up, the sophomore from Thousand Oaks, California. Looking for his first hit with the runner in scoring position this year. At 143 a season ago, did have a double in there, and that driven in a run as well. He takes the first pitch for a strike. Let's see if Stanford decides to make any action happen on the base pass with Rios over at first. Even see if he can get a throw from Garza to second, or at least make him pump fake and think about it. So far, no action. Oh, 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Big strikeout there for Rodriguez. His first one on the afternoon, his 7th this season. And now Owen Cobb will step up to the plate. So for Rice, we talked about how Connor Walsh isn't your usual 9-hole hitter, at least not early on in this year, as he was hitting .333 coming into his first at-bat. Same can be said for Owen Cobb, hitting .429 to start the season. 2 for 4 yesterday, adding 2 singles to the early season resume. Did get thrown out on the base pass, though, his first time this season. Shows the bunt and pulls back as it's low and away. Was a NCAA Elite 90 award winner 2 years ago in 2021. Looks like the 2-0 fouls that one back. After Owen Cobb, we go back to the top of the lineup with Eddie Park for Stanford. Two-one. Chopper as it goes off of Cobb, foul. 2-2. So far, batting .462 with runners on base this year. Get some insurance runs for Stanford. Hit down the line, fair ball. It's going to get through. Another run's going to come in. Easily scoring is Bowser. Rios is going to get the wave home. Here comes the relay. It's cut off. The throw home is in time. Perfect relay from Snagelski over to Rydell, and then down home to Garza, but 1 run does score for Stanford. Owen Cobb snuck that one perfectly down the third base line. Stanford, they had to give up an out for it, but they'll take the 2-0 lead. Give a double for Owen Cobb and RBI number 5 on the season. And here we are with Eddie Park. First pitch in for strike 1. And he flied out to center, first time up. 6 hits on the year for Eddie Park, all of them singles up to this point. Another one called on the inside corner, 0-2. Stanford with another runner in scoring position. Chopper up the middle. They're going to play it on the hop, the fire to first. End time, nice play by Johnson to get out number 3. Well, Stanford able to strike first, and they do it twice. 2 runs come across for the Cardinal in the second. We go to the third. Stanford in front, 2-0. Always a good feeling as a pitcher when you come back out on the mound and you have a lead that you didn't have the last time you were out. That's exactly what Ty Huber gets to deal with. And the first pitch in the third is lined over to right center by Rydell, but ranging over for the grab is Park for out number 1. Top of the lineup for Rice. You saw the leadoff hitter, Rydell. And now here's Drew Holderbach. Flat out over to right his first time up. Talked about the time that he spent at Marietta College. A nice play over at third base, and look at the arm from Tommy Troy. It's one thing to snag it, it's another thing to lace it across the diamond. That's another plus that the Stanford defense has. Look all around the infield, plus arms all over. Drew Bowser, who's playing at second now, used to be the third baseman, and we saw on many occasions the strong arm that he has. And you plug Tommy Troy over there as well. I mean, even think about for Drew Bowser, how many times do you usually see a second baseman that has a strong arm like the one Drew Bowser can possess? Benjamin Rosengard, remember he was the replacement for Guy Garibay Jr. when he went down with the injury in that first inning. Finds himself behind 1-2. Played in 18 games a year ago, including 12 starts. He transferred in from McLennan Community College. Helped them win a junior college D1 national championship when he hit .333 with 3 home runs. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. For the second time this game, Ty Huber retires the top three for the Owls in order. To the bottom of the third we go. Stanford up 2-0. The weather continues to heat up here at Sunken Diamond, but the action is really heating up down in Salt Lake City right now on the women's basketball side of things in the Pac-12. A matchup of the top two teams in the conference, Stanford Cardinal and the Utes of Utah. Late in the fourth quarter now, the Utes a 76-72 advantage right now over Stanford. The first pitch Tommy Troy sees in the bottom of the third. Shallow right. Who's going to call for it? Ranging way out there was the second baseman Gallo for out number one. Longer run for Pierce Gallo, but he makes the fine grab. We'll keep you up to date on that women's basketball game as it nears its completion under 2 minutes to go in that fourth. Carter Graham, first pitch, fouls off. Slide out the other way. He was the batter up and took it to the wall. Guy Garibay Jr. had to come out after making a phenomenal grab, leaping up just to the right of the Stanford logo over in the right field. Check swing, he could not keep up. 0-2, nice pitch by Rodriguez. Off speed, just got a piece of it, stay alive. Slight breeze starting to blow a little bit now at Sunken Diamond. And again, no, I do not mean that sarcastically. It is slight, of course, referring to the twister of a game that was here on Tuesday. We're speaking of that weather. Hope everyone's paying attention to all the weather warnings around the bay. You're seeing snow in places that you're not used to seeing it. Be careful. If you can stay inside, please do. Stock up on water and all the other essentials that you need. I know a lot of rain coming into the bay as well the next couple of days. If you didn't tune in, first got started. It's the reason why you have the double header today, to avoid any of that bad weather coming in starting potentially tomorrow. 1-2. Got in front of it again. We'll do 1 and 2 again. After Graham, you have Braden Montgomery. That's the round out the 3 that were due up for the Cardinal in this third inning. 1-2. Carter Graham staying alive. Good battle going on between the junior and the sophomore. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch from Mauricio Rodriguez. Tell you what, one thing about Mauricio Rodriguez on the mound, if you look at his background, how he pitches, it fits. Reason why I say that, he's aggressive around that strike zone. Not afraid to challenge you, especially with some of the off-speed pitches that he has. It makes sense. He was a football player and a wrestler in high school. You talk about needing to be aggressive. How about having those two sports and combine it to a mentality on the mound? Already up 0-1 on Braden Montgomery. Up the middle, that goes off of Rodriguez. We'll see if he's okay, as Montgomery's going to have an infield singles. My goodness, that was loud. Training staff coming on out. Early signs for Mauricio Rodriguez is that he's okay. It's good to see. I'm going to check him out. As he said, yeah, it hit me off the thigh. That he's okay. We're going to give him a couple of warm-up pitches here. We already have one Rice Owl player out due to injury today. Would not want to see another one come off. There's a little bit of action going in the bullpen. A couple of players playing a little bit of catch, it appears. Again, with the warm-up tosses that Rodriguez is giving no visible signs of discomfort. Well, again, if we're going to talk about that background of his, football and wrestling, it's another part of that toughness too as well. You know he's going to be able to take a hit and a little bit of pain as well and get through it. It looks like he's going to do so here. Good sign to see. One on first now with 2 down as Malcolm Moore steps up. Was hit by a pitch and then later came around to score off the Drew Bowser triple. Pitch missing inside, ball 1. Malcolm Moore, as a hitter early on in this year. 500 with 2 outs. Now ahead 2-0. Braden Montgomery with good speed at first. Got a running lead there, but it's fouled off. Count even 2-2. A lot of off speed as of late, especially from Rodriguez. Looks like he's tying up some of the Stanford hitters just a bit. Let's see if he sticks with it here. 2-2. Ground ball over towards the right side. Easy play for Gallo for out number 3. Another hit for Stanford, but nothing doing. After that, we head to the 4th. Stanford still in front by 2. And rolling along here, already in inning number 4. And just under an hour of play. First pitch to Manny Garza in the inning, taken for a ball. So it's a second. And of course, we talk about that. If you can see on the broadcast, right under the scoreboard out in right center, there's that pitch clock. And we were talking about how Kansas State and LSU had the game ended because of the hitter not getting into the batter's box back in time. Well, Stanford, or at least the Stanford alum, has now also had experience with the pitch clock as well, making the start for the first Giants game in the Cactus League play is, of course, former Stanford pitcher Tristan Beck. And he had a violation in the game today with the clock, so there you go, Tristan making some history. First ever Giants pitcher with a pitching violation, but in all seriousness, congratulations to Tristan, as heard Gabe Kapler have some very rave reviews about him the other day, talking about how they're expecting him to be a big part of their rotation going forward this year and also in the future. And that'll be a little fun thing, I'm sure, that he'll remember. As the top of the 4th starts off the leadoff walk to Garza. The second time he's reached base today. And now here's Nathan Becker. Becker, in his lone plate appearance so far today, drew a walk back in the 2nd inning. Takes in the dirt. Good stop. Charlie saw him to keep that in front. It's a final in Salt Lake City. The Utah Utes with a huge win in that top 10 matchup in the women's basketball play over the Stanford Cardinal, 84-78. Utah ranked number 8 in the country, Stanford number 3. A 1 seed still in play for the Cardinal, depending on how they do. They're still waiting, of course, in the Pac-12 Women's Championship in Vegas. "21 turnovers for Stanford today, compared to 9 for the Utes." That's one way to get it done. As Becker, taking all the way, looks at the 3-0 count in for strike 1, count 3-1. And hits that one in on the hands. And calling off Uber is going to be Carter Graham. There's out number 1. Of course, going up against Utah is tough enough as it is. Stanford even trying to get into Salt Lake City, they had some issues. As it was, they had that late game, the double overtime game against Colorado up in Boulder. Had airport delays, did not leave the Denver airport until 4:45 in the morning on Friday, and did not get in until 6:30. So not only do you have to play one of the top teams in the country, you just left a place where it has been a very tough place to play, because one of the good program that Colorado has, but also, of course, the altitude up in Boulder. Then you go to another place with altitude in Salt Lake City. That is a recipe for a fun afternoon. And speaking of fun afternoon, it looks like Ty Ubers is going to be done. We're going to have a pitching change here at Sunken Diamond. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll let you know about the new Cardinal pitcher. New pitcher for the Cardinal, the junior from South Jordan, Utah, Joey Dixon, making appearance number 3 on the year. No record yet, with a 5.79 ERA, 4 2/3 innings of work. He's given up 4 runs, 3 of those earned, 4 hits, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks. Opponents hitting .235 against him. When he came to Stanford back in 2020, he was rated the best prospect out of Utah for the MLB draft. Gave Stanford 27 appearances. 20 of those were in relief last season. A 6-3 record, 3.96 ERA, 1 save, 44 strikeouts, and 63 2/3 innings of work. Another one of those members of the All Pac-12 preseason team. Don't close the book on Ty Hubert just yet. He is responsible for the runner on first, but went 3 1/3. Bring up 1 hit with 3 walks and 3 strikeouts. One. Curveball drops into the zone, 1-2. Beautiful pitch from Dixon, has him ahead in the count. And try to bring something a little more straightforward, but it's in the dirt. Another good stop, though, by Charlie Somm. Another baseball action around the country today. How about this fun matchup? UCLA and Vanderbilt going on right now. That's in the bottom of the 7th with UCLA up front 2-0. Grounder the other way. The curveball hung up just a bit, and Gallo deposits it into the gap. Second hit of the day for the Owls. And with 1 out, they have runners on first and second for Max Johnson. UC Santa Barbara up 7-0 on Oregon. That is in the bottom of the 6th. USC on top of Auburn. That at 3-2 affair in the bottom of the 4th inning. Auburn has a runner on first. And with Washington going up against San Jose State. That one just getting started, but Washington already threatening to score. And later on today, we also have Oregon State going up against Coppin State. Arizona and West Virginia are scheduled to square off. Cal and Connecticut. Oregon and UCSB are going to play another one, and Cal Poly and the Golden Bears will also be playing later today as well. And Arizona State scheduled to go up against Mississippi State. No time for that one just yet. A lot of action going on around Pac-12 baseball today. 1-2 count to Johnson, who's 0 for 1. Popped up over to short in the 2nd inning. Which up to this point was the biggest threat that Rice has had in this game, where they left 3 on base. Right now looking at 2 on with 1 down and a 2-2 counts to their 7-hole hitter. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Big strikeout for Joey Dixon. There's out number 2. And Aaron Smigelski comes up. Smigelski walked his first time up in the 2nd. Very patient hitter on the year. Batting 182, but his on-base percentage is .438. Fouls that one out of play as the kids will take off for a souvenir. Count even. Still no hits to date this year with the runners in scoring position for Smigelski. Again, he knows all about bringing in RBIs, as we mentioned. 9 multi-RBI games a season ago. 1-1, swing and a miss. He went chasing. It's 1-2. Joey Dixon, one thing he can do for sure is pop the mid a good bit. Some of the scouts down below with the cameras out and the radar guns. I saw a Cincinnati Red scout here a little earlier. 1-2. Off speed. Got him in front of it. Dixon will field himself. Flip to first. Out number 3. Well done, Joey Dixon. He'll close the book on Ty Huber for the day. As we go to the bottom of the 4th, Stanford looking to add on to the 2-0 lead. Bowser, Rio, Psalm coming up for the Cardinal. As Rodriguez starts his 4th inning of work. First pitch in is for a strike, count 0-1. Drew Bowser got the party going in terms of run producing for Stanford in that 2-run second with an RBI triple. And right now sees himself behind in the counts. 0-2. Just takes one low and away. So similar position for Drew Bowser. We had that triple, 2 pitches were taken for strikes. Then another good pitch he had to take. What does he do on the 1-2? Grounder over on the left third base side, foul. Took a bit off. Bowser finds a way to stay alive. Bowser, a .333 hitter when he leads off an inning this season. Takes outside, even it up. He was a big part of a record-breaking season for the Cardinal offensively last year. 18 home runs for Drew Bowser, part of the 118 that Stanford hit. As a team, it's the best ever. As a check swing from Bowser, but Scott Latendre says he couldn't hold up. There's out number 1. Strikeout number 3 for Rodriguez. 1 up, 1 down as Alberto Rios will come up to the plate. I think what might be even more impressive than Stanford hitting 118 home runs, the pitching staff only gave up 36. So you're talking about a plus 82 in that category. As they continue that on in the postseason, 23 home runs, most of any team in postseason play. They're kind of picking up where they left off last year in terms of the power. 9 home runs so far from Stanford through 5 games. Which coming into the weekend was ranked 18th in the country. And about 2 1/4 home runs, ranked 16th per game. One, 2 count now on Rios. The 5 games Stanford's played so far, again, and it has not been run production that's been a problem. 39 runs through 5 games, so just under 8 a pop. Of course, when you score 21 in a game, that'll help that number out pretty well. But even outside of that, they still have games with 7 and 6 runs, another one with 4, and of course the first game of the year where they only scored 1. Another check swing, but this time Latendre says no. The count is full. Here's the payoff. Good eye, another good appearance from Rios as he draws his second walk of the afternoon. Charlie Somm will have an opportunity to get Rios over, or maybe even more. With 1 down. 0 for 1 so far. Struck out swinging in the second and was out in front on a beautiful slider. 0-1. Charlie has the brother Jake, playing baseball at UCLA. Of course, we talked about them up against the Vandy boys today. And 0-2. That game now in the top of the 8th. UCLA still holding on to that 2-0 lead. Off-speed pitch just missing. Counts 1-2. Not that big of a lead for Rios over at first. And again, pulling the string is Rodriguez. And down on strikes for the second time is Charlie Somm. 2 down now as Owen Cobb will step in. He doubled down the third base line in the second to bring home the second run of the game, that being Drew Bowser. First, Alberto Rios was trying to score all the way from first, and he was gunned down at home. A perfect relay from Smigelski and Rydell to get him. Goes down that line again. This time it would be fielded by Rydell, but it was called foul. Close call over at third by Travis Reiniger, but just a strike. Count 0-1 to the 9-hole hitter for Stanford rounds things back out to the top of the lineup for the third time today. That one's up the middle and going to be through for a base hit. Owen Cobb with the 2-for-2 day, his second game in this series with multiple hits. And the inning continues for the Cardinal to go back to the top with Eddie Park. Eddie 0 for 2. There's a fly out and a ground out. There's a big gap up the middle on the right side if you can take advantage of it. As the fastball just misses the outside corner. Looks like we're going to have a meeting of the minds here first off before we see another pitch in this at bat. Parker Bangs, the pitching coach, comes out. A very well experienced staff for Jose Cruz Jr. and this Rice Owls program. I mean, even if you want to start at the top, Jose Cruz Jr., first ever former Rice baseball player to be named head coach of the program since Harold Stockbridge did it back from 1949 to 52. What a phenomenal career Cruz Jr. had while he was a player for Rice. National Freshman of the Year in 1992 when he drove in a school record 59 RBI. First team All-American his sophomore year. Go to 95. It was the third overall pick in the draft by the Seattle Mariners and had a very good MLB career for a handful of teams. One of 8 members in the Cruz extended family to play professional baseball. Also on that staff as well, Paul Yanish, who I remember well from his Atlanta Braves playing days. Park takes outside. Count is 2-1. Get a lot of pro experience. For Rice. And again, even on the pitching side of things, Parker Bangs, who is in his first full year as pitching coach for Rice. He had a phenomenal time at Davidson where his pitching staff, they led the conference in ERA. It was also 8th nationally at 3.86. 3-1, lost him, ball 4. Might have been potentially the last pitch we'll see from Rodriguez, and I think so. As here comes Jose Cruz Jr. now to make the change. We'll tell you about the new Rice pitcher here in a second. Stanford, they have 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th, but they're threatening to add 2 with the bases loaded. So out goes the righty Rodriguez. In comes the lefty, J.D. McCracken, sophomore from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And welcome into the game. The first thing you have to do is go up against Tommy Troy with the bases loaded. Tommy with a single. Back into first. Also popped up on the infield. Fastball outside. McCracken had an appearance yesterday, went 2 innings of work and struck out 2. Transferred in from the University of Tennessee, where he made 3 appearances a season ago. Was also the Tennessee Mr. Baseball for Division II back in the high school days, and he is going to get the job done here in the bottom of the 4th as he gets the ground out from Tommy Troy. Now Stanford threatened. It was their turn to have the bases loaded, but nothing comes across. To the top of the 5th we go. Stanford still in front, 2-0. Moving on into the second half of this game, at least regulation-wise. Connor Walsh, check swing on the first pitch. Fielded by Graham and over to Dixon covering for out number 1. Back to the top of the lineup for Rice, where they are still looking for their first base runner in their top 3. Ty Uber, make sure they went 0 for 6. See what they can do against Dixon. First up, Rydell looks at strike 1. Rydell started off the game striking out looking and then lined out to center. And takes outside for ball 1. Change up, pulled the string on him, and he whiffed 1 and 2. I remember for Dixon a year ago, as this look over into Stanford bullpen. Of course, nobody throwing or getting loose. He did have a couple of starts last year, so if you need him to go multiple innings, more than capable of doing so. Right now in a full count to the leadoff hitter for Rice. That's in the dirt. Ball 4. There's a first base runner for the top three of the Rice lineup today. And now Drew Holderbuck will come up to the plate. Fly it out once to right. Also grounded out to third. From a phenomenal play over there by Tommy Troy. And there's first pitch, strike one. And the first series for Rice on the road this weekend. As they've had the privilege of playing at Reckling Park against Louisiana and Sam Houston State. It's been their home field ever since 2000. This year, a little bit of a change to it. A new turf surface is there this year. Of course, the lead donation in that, you might have heard of this name before, former World Series champion and a Rice alum, Anthony Rendon, and his wife Amanda helping lead the way with the funds to make that happen. One thing's for sure, I'm sure being in the Houston heat during the dog days during late March, April, and May, I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun. Another throw over. And Walsh is back in time. Connor Walsh on the year, one stolen base attempt, and he made it in cleanly. 1-2, back up the middle, and that's going to sink in for a base hit. One out rally getting going now for Rice. And Benjamin Rosengard will come up to the plate. 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the third. Part of a 1-2-3 inning for Ty Huber. Charlie Somm going to step out and the defensive assignments. And on the infield, for the most part, Stanford playing Rosengard to pull it. Hoping they can turn two. First pitch in for a strike. Of course, as you would expect, Joey Dixon keeping it low in the zone, trying to get something on the ground. There's that grounder. 4, 6, a little bit of a bobble. The return not in time. Drew Bowser with a little bit of a bobble trying to transition from the glove to the flip. As well as Rosengard was running, it might have been tough to get him out anyway. So that pretty much ended all hopes of it happening. So runners on the corners with 2 down now. And it'll be Manny Garza at the plate. He's reached base both times at the plate today. The single in the second and then walks in the fourth. First pitch swinging out in front of the changeup. Most of the cloud coverage that we've had in the early innings of this game have gone out of the way. I could look at the weather app and it might say it's in the 50s. It surely doesn't feel like it anymore as that one gets away from Somm. Here comes the runner home, and he'll make it in easily without a throw. So Rydell comes across the score on the wild pitch. And there's the first run of the afternoon for Rice. Rosengard will move up to second. Another runner in scoring position again for Rice. 1-1 counts. It's a cleanup hitter. Outside, 2-1. Ground ball up the middle. It's going to be fielded by Cobb and a throw to first in time for out number 3. Rice finds a way on the board. So they get one home on the wild pitch. To the bottom of the 5th we go. Will Stanford find a way to answer back with a run of their own? Stay tuned, find out. At the bottom of the 5th getting underway. Time for my favorite half inning at Sunken Diamond as the junior announcer is here to bring up the Cardinal to the plate. And it's Carter Graham that'll get things going for Stanford. Carter looking for his first hit on the afternoon. 0 for 2 with a fly out to right. Struck out swinging in the 3rd. A late called strike there for 1-1. I'll tell you what, one thing's for sure, you don't need a pitch clock when J.D. McCracken's on the mound. He is ready to go right away. The pitch clock, it starts at 20 seconds. And right around the 15, 16 second mark is when McCracken is in his delivery ready to go. 3-1 counts. And Graham takes the two-seamer outside for ball 4. A good start for Stanford in the bottom of the 5th inning. And I mean, again, you listen to the beautiful tunes of that if you heard it over the live stream. How could you not be hyped up at the plate to make something happen? It'll be Braden Montgomery stepping in. He's 1 for 2, had a hard line drive that went off the leg of Mauricio Rodriguez. Now back in the 3rd, also grounded out. In the 1st, there's a chopper. Nice scoop over at 3rd base. A phenomenal play with the glove by Rydell, and he gets the lead runner. He's made a couple of good plays, one with the arm and also with the glove at the hot corner for Rice today. And with 1 down now, here's Malcolm Moore. Two-time Gatorade Player of the Year at C.K. McClatchy High School in the Sacramento area. One thing's for sure, I think Malcolm is probably enjoying this NBA season a lot. How about the Sacramento Kings? How about the game that they had yesterday? Second highest scoring game in NBA regular season history. And their win over the Clippers. 1-0. And it's going to be 1. The throw back to first is, it might have been in time, but the throw took McCracken off the bag. The second fielder's choice in as many batters for Stanford. We'll have Moore standing at first. It looks like we might have another change before McCracken can make another pitch, which means we'll take a break, and when we come back, more on the new Rice pitcher next. Well, we have a pitching change here at Sunken Diamond, but I promise if you hear the trumpets in the background, it is not Edwin Diaz that's coming up to the mound for Rice. It is the grad student from Charleston Southern, Krishna Raj, out of Wellington, Florida. The righty making his third appearance on the year, 1-1 record. 3.86 ERA and 4 2/3 innings of work. We've got 2 runs. Both of those have been earned. 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks. Opponents hitting .333 against him. It's a year ago at Charleston Southern, had 17 appearances and 1 start. 3 saves in that as well, 28 strikeouts and 26 1/3. Well-traveled in his college career is Raj, is even before Charleston Southern. He played the Buccaneers. He was with the Green Wave of Tulane back in 2020. Now going up against Drew Bowser with 2 out. First pitch is high. Ball 1. Drew Bowser with a triple to center. Landed right in front of Walsh on a diving attempt and went to the wall. Thought about offering there and held off. Good idea, 2-0. Moore at first for Stanford after back-to-back fielders' choices. 2-0. Ground ball, gonna get through on the left side. Seeing eye single for Drew Bowser, continues the inning for Stanford. And we continue on with Alberto Rios. Alberto, 2 walks today. Been thrown out at home once and stranded on third after the other. Bases loaded. Excuse me, runners on first and second for Stanford. Fastball catches the outside corner. Rios takes high. Charlie Somm would be next, the catcher for Stanford, if Rios can continue this inning on. Solid speed for Stanford on the base pass, so that goes the other way and through. Here comes the wave home. The throw is going to be in time. Did he beat the tag? He did! Phenomenal slide at the plate by Malcolm Moore to beat the tag. He got just underneath it from Garza. An RBI single off the bat of Alberto Rios, and Stanford answers the Rice 1 run, and the top of the 5th was one of their own. telling you, it has something to do with having a junior announcer in here. Runs usually go on the board for Stanford, and that trend continues here in the first game of this Saturday doubleheader. In the dirt. On that RBI single for Rios, that is going to be RBI number 5. Bowser moved up to second. So once again, first and second. A 1-0 count and 2 down. High and tight and off the elbow guard of Psalm. Of course, if you're Charlie, it helps to have that protection, but when you're behind the plate and you're taking the beating all game as it is, no extra hits ever feel that pleasant. And nonetheless, the bases are now loaded for Stanford. As Owen Cobb steps in. Big opportunity to produce some more runs for Stanford and really open up this lead. Owen's already brought 1 run in on an RBI double in the second and has a single in the fourth. Good eye ahead 2-0. The easy thing to say here for Christian and Raj, you have to be careful. Obviously no place to put Owen Cobb, but of course even if you do let him reach, you're back at the top of the lineup. A perfectly placed pitch on the 2-0 count for strike 1. And a heartbeat, some catching now happening in the Rice bullpen. Two 2-1. In the dirt, ball 3. Well, you be the judge at home. If you're Owen Cobb, 3-1 counts. He just came off a batter that got hit by a pitch. Do you take here? No, he doesn't, and skies it over to left. Will it have enough to reach the bullpen and out of play? It will not, as that almost blew back into fair territory, but making the adjustment is Smigelski. Well, Stanford brought 1 home. They had a chance to do more, but they'll take what they can. We will go to the top of the 6th with Stanford in front, 3-1. Joey Dixon continues his outing. Get to the top of the 6th inning. Becker, Gallo, and Johnson, the 3 due up for Rice. Stanford answered the Rice 1 run in the top of the 5th with one of their own in the bottom. Got underneath it. It's fouled back this way. Will there be enough room for some? Yes, there will. Nice grab. As much as it can be a nightmare trying to be a catcher in Sunken Diamond, sometimes it can be a blessing. It might cost you a run if it gets to the backstop, but it can help getting you an extra out because of all the depth back there as well. 1 up, 1 down. Here's Pierce Gallo. Takes for strike 1. Here's 1 for 2. Singled in the 4th, struck out in the 2nd. Dixon also with a very quick pace on the mound right now as well, as ahead in the count 0-2. High and tight, look out. Good reflexes by Gallo to get out the way. 1-2 now. Got the call on the corner, strike 3. Gallo knew it. Perfectly placed pitch by Joey Dixon. And just like that, now 2 down in the inning. And Max Johnson will come up. 0 for 2 today, after an 0 for 3 day yesterday. It's Brian Bleberg telling Joey Dixon to put the rosin bag behind him. It was a little bit over to the side. Off speed, outside corner, strike 1. Gelski waits on deck. He'd be up if Johnson can reach. That hit the other way. It's hailing out of play towards the batting cages over behind the visitor bullpen. We have a 1-2 count. The pitch out in front of it again, fouled out of play. Let's see which kid will get to it first. I have one fan down here, a young fan, looks like an Atlanta Braves hoodie. Can't find it. There he goes. Now he has it. Johnson fouls another one off. It's pretty funny. So watching the kid who just got the last foul ball as it landed in the stands, he knew that the ball was out of play. Didn't know exactly where it was, so he turned around and maybe 3 circles to locate it, and now he's on the hunt. 1-2. Foul back again. Good battle here from Johnson. It never fails to amaze me how much energy little kids have all of a sudden once there's a chance to get a foul ball. It also never fails to amaze me that I once had that much energy to get a foul ball as well. Here's the 1-2. Strike 3 called, off-speed pitch, a beauty. 2 strikeouts for Dixon in the inning and a 3-up, 3-down gem of a top of the 6th inning. We go to the bottom half. Stanford up front, 3-1.
said the chances are excellent that I put it someplace safe.
You don't need it today?
What? No. I don't. So why don't we not worry about it?
Wait.
For the fourth time today, the top of the lineup due up for Stanford. We'll get things started with Eddie Park. 3 runs on 7 hits so far for the Cardinal. 1 run on 3 hits for Rice. First pitch of the 6th from Krishna Raj, taken for ball 1. Now ball 2. Now, one thing's for sure. Haven't been to a game yet, or haven't watched one. It definitely feels like the pace is a lot faster than what it has felt like in years past. As Park lines one in the right center field gap, down for a base hit. He'll take a big turner around first. He's going to go for second. The throw is off the line, and a hustle double for Eddie Park. I was waiting for that big stop from Eddie Park after he rounded first base, but he kept on going, and it paid off. Leadoff hitter already in scoring position for Stanford. And now Tommy Troy will come up looking to do some damage. 1 for 3 today. A single back in the first. It's popped up and also grounded out to third. Big hole the other way for Troy on the infield. If he can poke it through as a semi-shift on. You have 3 defenders for Rice over on the left side. It's Gallo that's playing just behind the second base bag, basically, a little to the left of it. Gotta be careful if you're Raj over pitching away from Troy. It's going to make it easier to take advantage of that hole. And Tommy Troy's phenomenal player, top prospect in the D1 baseball draft class for this upcoming year. How about this for Stanford? You get to have the top prospect in the next 2 drafts on your team, at least how D1 baseball sees things. For the 2023 draft, it's Tommy Troy. And then in 2024, it's Braden Montgomery. All in all, Stanford has 5 of the top 15 prospects rated for this upcoming draft class. 2-1, swung on and well hit to right. Going back on it, Rosengard still going back, it's gone! The wind has definitely started to fly out towards the outfield. Hit it high, watch it fly, and Tommy Troy does just that. Second one of the year for Tommy Troy. Bring home RBI number 5 and 6. There's the big swing that Stanford was looking for. It's 5-1. Told you from the start of things, it looked like Rosengard had a beat on it, and that ball just kept carrying out as that has popped a mile high over in foul territory. You see the wind playing a little bit of tricks in the ball in the air now, too, even on the infield, as Holderbach had to take a couple steps back to make that grab. Again, nowhere near the levels we saw the winds on Tuesday, but it has picked up here in the recent past few minutes as we get some cloud coverage now. Almost feels like we dropped about 10 degrees as well. Best way to compare it is if you go from one neighborhood in San Francisco to another. That's how the weather change feels right now. Here's a 1-0. In there on the inside corner, 1-1. Montgomery 1 for 2 today. Big swing and a miss. He didn't need any wind to take that one out if he would have made contact 1 and 2. More on deck. Tommy Troy, that 2-run homer, hit that one about a third the way up of the scoreboard. As Montgomery just gets out the way, the count is now full. Here's the payoff. Swung, and he absolutely jumped on it, but got a little too in front of it, headed foul. Already in 1 year at Sunken Diamond, we have seen the line drive shots that Braden Montgomery can get out in a hurry. And draws the walk here. Good at bat by Braden. One on with 1 down. 2 runners have already come across for the Cardinal. And now Malcolm Moore comes up. He is hit by a pitch in the second. Ran into a fielder's choice in the 5th, but came around to score both times. Low and inside, ball 1. Solid lead for Montgomery. 1-0. Off speed and high. It was Malcolm Moore that was able to beat the tag of Garza at the plate. No, the throw had him beat. It was a little bit on the first base side, and so when Garza turned back around to make the tag, Moore was able to get underneath it. Swung, high fly ball in this shallow right. Coming in on it is Rosengard. He'll get there for out number 2. It's up to Drew Bowser now. Stanford wants to do some more damage into the 6th inning. 1 for 2 so far as Drew Bowser has already driven in a run today. He drove in the first run of the game, actually, with an RBI triple in the 2nd. Also has added a single to the resume today as well. And there goes one of the better pitches of the afternoon so far for Krishna Raj. A beauty on the outside corner. Rios would be next if Bowser reaches. Big swing and pulling the string is Raj, 0-2. See the flags in center field. Wind definitely flying out now towards center. Almost a pitch out attempt there on an 0-2 count. Not sure if that was designed or not, but it ended up working out that way. The count now 1-2. Montgomery was back in easily. Off speed, couldn't drop back in. Counts even. Drew Bowser with that big 6'3", 6'4" frame. Another breaking ball missing high. Count is full. Of course, not every often you have a 6'4" middle infielder, but we saw that with the Pittsburgh Pirates last year. O'Neal Cruz, how much fun is he to watch? Strike 3 called on the outside corner to Drew Bowser, and that will do it for out number 3. But the damage was done. Tommy Troy depositing one off the scoreboard in right center, adding 2 more runs to the Cardinal lead. They have it now 5-1 through 6. Eight, 9, and then back up to the top of the lineup for Rice in the top of the 7th inning. The Clouds continue to roll in, a sight that you'll see a lot in the Bay Area the next couple of days. As Aaron Smikelski starts things off as Joey Dixon continues his relief outing. As a first pitch strike. Smikelski 0 for 1, grounded out back to Dixon earlier, and also has a walk as well. Has a good eye there, a good pitch from Dixon. I guess missed a little low. One. Breaking ball, just missing again. Tell you what, if Dixon's missing, he isn't missing by much. There it is, 2-2. Count even. Swing and a miss, got him to chase. Smikelski turns around to see exactly where that pitch was. It was a couple of inches off the plate, but he chased anyway. And there's out number 1. Connor Walsh, 0 for 2. Looking at a first pitch strike. And for Rice, this is a schedule that they have this year. It's going to be very difficult. On average, opponents won 33 games a season ago. Of course, you have Stanford being part of that difficult schedule, but you look at their conference, again, Dallas Baptist, great season they had a year ago and already off to a solid start. You had Louisiana Tech as well, who was a good postseason team as well. A couple others on that schedule in the Conference USA for Rice. They definitely have their work cut out for them. 2-1. Chopper on the third base side, foul. Of course, in the Pac-12, nothing need be said for Stanford as well. They always get things started off pretty rough at Cal State Fullerton. You have the likes of UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, and Oregon. Be another difficult year in the Pac-12. Arizona State and Washington looking to make some noise, and you already won against Cal, and they came in here with an 8-4 win already as well. Two. just missing the outside corner. The Stanford section at Sunken did not agree with the call. The count is now full for the junior center fielder. Stay alive, heading that on foul over towards the parking lot. Payoff number 2. Popped up over foul territory on the first base line. Graham is back, but it'll be called off by Braden Montgomery in front of the bullpen for out number 2. Two up, 2 down. To the top of the lineup we go with Jack Rydell, who reached base for the first time this afternoon back in the 5th inning. Reached on a walk and scored the lone run for the Owls so far today. Auburn has exploded offensively in their game against USC. That is now an 8-3 Tiger lead in the bottom of the 6th. Washington up 3-1 on the road against San Jose State, as that's laced up the middle, but fielded perfectly, or positioned perfectly, I should say, was Owen Cobb, and a nice scoop over at first base by Carter Graham for out number 3. A 3 up, 3 down inning for Joey Dixon. It's stretch time here at Sunken. We go from stretch time to a little samba time, maybe a little salsa as well, which means Alberto Rios is coming up to the plate. 5-1 Stanford. They added 2 more runs last inning thanks to the 2-run home run from Tommy Troy. Krishna Raj still out there for the Owls. And delivers the first pitch ball. Rios an RBI single in the 5th. Chopper on the third base side, but foul. Bottom 3 duo for the Cardinal this inning. Rios, Psalm, and Cobb. For David Esker, the reigning Pac-12 Coach of the Year. Second time he's done that, leading the Cardinal. 3-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year overall. He won it once when he was over at Cal. It's also the ABCA West Region Coach of the Year as well a season ago. Rio sends that one high into the air to right, as Rosengard will make the grab for out number 1. course, it's not going to happen, but if David Esker were to decide to retire after this game, or even during the game, he would have the best win percentage in school history right now, sitting at 714 with the 185-74 record here at Stanford, and 710, 541, and 2 record in Division I baseball overall. 0-1 count now to Charlie Somm. Takes low. Thousand Oaks High School. One. Check swing. Good eye. Holds off 2-1. Called on the corner at the knees. 2-2. Stanford so far today 3 for 7 with runners have been in scoring position. That's been one of the big differences. Both teams have had 7 at-bats with runners in scoring position. Stanford being 3 for 7. Rice is 0 for 7. Payoff up the middle and through. Good at bat, Charlie Somm, as he finds his way on with his first hit of the afternoon. One on, one down. And Owen Cobb will come up. Cobb on the day, 2 for 3. RBI double and a single. So both of the games so far in this series, he has multi-hit performances. One. Somm with a small lead over at first as Cobb looked at that one right down University. Count 0-2. We go back to the top of the lineup with Eddie Park after this. 0-2. Hit the other way again towards the Stanford bullpen. That's a long run for everybody as Rosengard laid out but couldn't get there. Good hustle. It's in the middle of no man's land in right field foul territory. We'll do 0-2 again. One on with one down. Here in the 7th. Low 2. Excuse me, 1-2. Owen Cobb already outmatching his RBI total from a year ago. He had his 5th his last time up. He had 3 all last season, and now has worked this count even 2-2. Good job holding up. Two. Hit hard and through on the left side for a base hit. Owen Cobb continues his hot hitting this weekend. His 3rd hit of the game, 5th on the weekend. And the table is perfectly set to go back to the top of the lineup for Stanford. And here comes Eddie Park. Eddie doubled and scored back in the 6th. Opportunity once again for the Cardinal to add more runs on the board. 11 hits now, 5 runs on those 11 hits for Stanford. looks like that will do it for Krishna Raj and his outing today. Keep the book open on him. He's responsible for the runners on first and second, but we'll tell you more about the next Rice pitcher coming up after this break. New pitcher for the Owls, the junior out of Dallas, Texas. Tyler Hamilton making appearance number 2 on the year. Has yet to give up a run in his 1 inning of work with 1 walk. So hasn't given up a hit either. Transfer in from Texas Tech. He made 1 appearance for them a year ago. After a phenomenal high school career, he was 6A first team All-States. Also the defensive player of the year in his district as a senior as well. And all he has to do is come in with only 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, go up against the Stanford 2, 3, and potentially 4-hole hitters. The first of which, he's got to go against the top 3 of the lineup for Stanford. Eddie Park is going to be the one up first. As Eddie steps back in. My apologies, Eddie Park. Did not mean to overlook you. So here comes Eddie stepping in. Been 1 for 3 today. He's reached twice, though. He has a walk in the 4th and doubled and scored in the 6th inning. A junior now out of San Jose, Valley Christian High School. First pitch hit hard. Oh, what a pick over at second base. The throw to second got away. And everybody's going to be safe. Phenomenal pick by Pierce Gallo over at second. Tried to go over to short to get the runner at second. Maybe try to get a double play. And how are we going to roll this? It's going to be an E6. Credit the error to Max Johnson over at short. First error of the game for Rice. That is their 10th on the year. Bases loaded now for Tommy Troy. He's already gone yard once. That one brought home 2. If he did it again, it'd bring home 4. Chopper over on the third base side. It's fielded by Rydell. He steps on third to get that out, but can't get the speedy Troy over at first. So another run scores as Som comes around. Cobb is retired. Park now at second with Troy at first. 6-1 now Stanford. 2 down and Carter Graham's up. Carter 0 for 3, did reach on a walk. takes in the first pitch. Oh, 1 counts. Carter Graham, average so far in the year now under that 100 line, but again, expect that to heat up pretty soon. Check swing, but it's in anyway. 0-2. Eddie Park at second, Tommy Troy at first. A 1 run already across in this inning for Stanford. They've scored in 3 straight innings now. Here's the pitch. Beautiful off speed, and Carter Graham could not hold up. Another run for the Cardinal. As we head to the 8th, the Cardinals a 5-run lead, 6-1. Getting ready for the top of the 8th, and all I can say is get your radar guns ready. After a phenomenal relief outing by Joey Dixon, coming out from right field to the mound is Braden Montgomery, and if you want to talk about someone that can absolutely light up the radar gun, number 6 is the person for you. Montgomery, a sophomore from Madison, Mississippi. Is making his 2nd appearance on the year on the mound. Had a 2-inning performance against Cal State Fullerton. They gave up 1 run, 1 hit, so that was a home run. 3 strikeouts and 2 walks. A couple other changes as Montgomery comes into the mound. Saborn Campbell, number 4, will be out in right field. And also Charlie Somm, his day will be done. As behind the plate, it'll now be Malcolm Moore. There are your defensive changes for the Cardinal. As Drew Holderbach will look at that fastball high and out the zone for ball 1. Radar gun, it'll pop out around 94 to 96 for Braden Montgomery. So that one's sent to center, fairly well hit. Park out and to the right, 1 down. Now Benjamin Rosengard comes up 0 for 2 so far. Ran into a fielder's choice. Also struck out in the 3rd inning. Again, how about that performance by Joey Dixon today out of the pen? Went 3 2/3. 2 hits, 1 run, which was earned, with 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. And you're starting to see one of the big reasons why so many people have high hopes for Stanford this year. Yes, the offense will be there. We all know and expect that. But they can pitch like this as well. That's what makes all the difference. As Park makes a nice running grab, ranging back to his right once again. Hardly hit, but hung up just enough for Park to get there. 2 up, 2 down with 2 putouts from Eddie Park. As Manny Garza might try to avoid that middle third of the outfield. Eddie Park is ranging everything down. Chopper the other way, that's going to get through. Second hit of the day for Manny Garza, perfectly placed. And now Nathan Becker will come up. He's been up to the plate 3 times, 0 for 2, has 1 walk before he was stranded at second. First pitch thought about swinging, but held up, so says Travis Reininger over at third base. 2 infield pop-ups for Becker. Fouled out of play. 1-1. And what a weapon it is for David Esker to bring in Braden Montgomery late in games. You have a couple other hard throwers in the Stanford pen as well. Ryan Bruno comes to mind, but we have a lot of pitchers that are, lower 90s and can do a lot more with movement and off-speed pitches. And then you bring in the heat that Montgomery can bring. It can really just change things up for a hitter. 2-1. Beautiful pitch at the knees. 2-2. Garza takes his lead. 2-2. 2 outs. The top of the 8th. Here's the pitch from Montgomery. Swing and a miss. He pulled the string. Have fun with that. You're waiting on that fastball, and we're just going to pull it on you. 1 runner reaches base for Rice, but nothing else after that. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Stanford up 6-1. Heart of the lineup coming up for the Cardinal, 4, 5, and 6. Going up against Tyler Hamilton for his second inning of relief. Final numbers for Krishna Raj earlier had an inning and 2/3. It was 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those were earned with 1 strikeout and 1 walk. And speaking of strikeouts, fresh off the mound, delivering a strikeout is now Braden Montgomery at the plate. First pitch curved inside for ball 1. Fastball tight. So Montgomery on the day at the plate has a single, is also walked. 1-1. 2-1. There's a new catcher for Rice. So out is Garza and in is number 23, Colin Hannigan. We'll have a walk issue to Montgomery. So the new catcher in behind the dish for Rice is the new catcher in this game for Stanford, Malcolm Moore. Malcolm has scored twice. Once after he was hit by a pitch, another one after he grounded into a fielder's choice. First pitch he sees is a ball. 5 straight balls to start off the bottom of the 8th for Tyler Hamilton. Big cut by Moore and fouls it back. These teams, again, they'll play one or more between each other. That'll take place 45 minutes after this game is over. Then Rice will have a midweek game against Sam Houston once again. That in Huntsville, Texas, on the road as Moore gets hit in the back. So you take a second to let the pain wear off on that. So he's still hunched over right now at first base, so they're going to have to take a second to check him out, make sure he's okay. Looks like he is. Rice will stay in Texas. Actually, they'll be somewhat home, if you will. They'll be in Houston, but not at Reckling Park. They'll be at Minute Maid Park for the Shriners Hospitals for Children College Classic. I'll have 3 games next weekend against Texas Tech, Texas A&M, and TCU. Drew Bowser, and there's a strike. Meanwhile, on the other side of things for Stanford, have a game Monday against Pacific before starting off March the home series against CS Bakersfield. Pac-12 play gets underway for the Cardinal. Week after that, starting Friday, March 10th, will be at USC. As that ball gets behind Hannigan, everyone gets an extra 90 feet easily. Now Braden Montgomery at third. Moore moves up to second. And as much as Malcolm Moore's back might hurt right now, again, if the ball gets all the way over to the backstop, he can easily get 90 feet. 1-1 to Bowser. High and tight, 2-1. USC trying to threaten in the top of the 8th to make it a game again against Auburn. Bases loaded for them with 1 out. They're still trailing 8-3. Bowser looks in the dirt. Washington still up 3-1 in the top of the 7th against San Jose State. Oregon State is up 4-0 against Coppin State. That in the top of the 4th. Arizona, bases loaded, bottom of the 2nd against West Virginia. They're trailing in that one 2-1. As Bowser is going to watch that go to the backstop. It takes a hard hit back. It doesn't matter as it's ball 4. And now the bases are loaded. Bottom 2nd, bases loaded for the Golden Bears as they are still scoreless against UConn. A final between UCSB and Oregon. The Gauchos blank the Ducks 10-0. And how about this? UCLA, the 3-0 win over Vanderbilt. So there's an impressive result for the Pac-12. Now Alberto Rios will come up to the plate with the bases loaded. Walk, hit by pitch, and a walk. And the first pitch Rios will swing is going over by the bullpen, making the grab in foul territory is Holder back. He had to turn quickly as Montgomery was thinking about going and doesn't. So there's the first out.
Number 4, Saborn Campbell.
Now Saborn Campbell, the sophomore from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, will make his first at-bat of the weekend. Came in as a defensive replacement as well yesterday out of Detroit Country Day. So if you're a Bay Area sports fan, that school might sound familiar because once upon a time, when Chris Webber was a Gold State Warrior, that's where he went to high school. A lot of talents come out of Detroit Country Day. Oh, 1. Check swing, and yes, he went around. Oh, 2 counts to Campbell. Looks at 1 in the dirt, 1-2. Saborn Campbell did not play last year. Still looking for that first collegiate hit. What better time to get it down pat than with the bases loaded? One-two count going up against Tyler Hamilton. Big swing, came up empty. Oh no, says it was a foul ball. Actually changed that. There is a pitch clock violation, so there you have it. That's what the home plate umpire Ryan Bleberg was signaling for. So instead of a strikeout, it's 2-2, and Saborn Campbell has an extra life. Out in the dirt, 3-2. As you can tell, we're still getting used to the pitch clock up here as well. As nobody was sure what happened, if it was time was called, a strikeout, or what it was. Well, either way, the count is now full, 1 out. Here comes the payoff pitch. Inside, good eye Campbell as he earns a walk and a run will come home. Montgomery will cross. Moore goes to third. Bowser to second. 7-1 now in favor of the Cardinal, and there's the first RBI of the collegiate career for Saborn Campbell. Here comes the, let's say red hot, but that wasn't really due it justice. Let's say the Cardinal hot Owen Cobb, as there's another hit for him. 1 run's going to come around to score. Everyone else moves up 90 feet. Have yourself a day, Owen Cobb. He's 4 for 5. Another RBI, give him 2 on the day. And Stanford now in front 8-1.
Now back to the center fielder, number 22, Eddie Park.
Tell you what, Owen Cobb, whatever you have going for you to start this year, bottle up and carry the rest of the way this season. Back to the top of the lineup with Eddie Park. 8 runs now on 12 hits for Stanford. Slider in for strike 1. Eddie has a double scored, that back in the 6th. Takes there, good eye, 1-1. Stanford 4 for 12 now with runners in scoring position today. Line drive, that's going to bring home a couple more. 1 run scores. Here comes Campbell around. He's going to score. The stop sign will be waved up for Owen Cobb at third. Eddie Park brings 2 more home, and Stanford's in double digits. And it looks like this might be the end of the outing for Tyler Hamilton, thanks to the 2 RBI double for Eddie Park. So a new pitcher coming in for Rice. We'll take a quick break and then let you know all about him. Fifth pitcher of game 1 of the doubleheader for Rice will be Mark Perkins, a sophomore out of Houston, Texas. He's making appearance number 2 on the year. Has 1 inning of work. Last year made 14 appearances. 3 of those were starts, had a 1-0 record, a 4.40 ERA. When he was called in for relief. He's a little used to the Bay Area, as just this past summer he pitched for Walnut Creek over in the East Bay for the California League. Something tells me if he was here in the summer, though, he was not seeing snow up in the mountaintops. A situation that he'll have to come in with runners on second and third for Stanford. It'll be Cobb over at third and Park at second. 4 runs have already come across for the Cardinal in this inning, 10 in total. Still just 1 out, as we will have a new hitter now coming in for Stanford. So Chami Troy, his day will be done, and Jimmy Natai will come in.
Number 15, Jimmy Natai.
On the year, Natai, a freshman from Sydney, Australia, is 0 for 2. Has reached base, though, is .333 on base percentage. He's looking for his first collegiate hits. Stanford working in some of the younger guys now, because on deck, you also have Jake Sapien. (1-0) in the dirt. 2-0. Both runners on base, still the responsibility of Tyler Hamilton, so he can't close the book yet, but he It's been an inning of work. Give up 2 hits, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. 4 runs up to this point, and all 4 have been earned. 2-0. Inside ball 3. Four straight pitches, and there is a walk. Bases once again loaded for the Cardinal. As Natai reaches base once again. And instead of Carter Graham, you're going to have Jake Sapien coming in. Sapien, the sophomore from Atwater, California, Buhawk Colony High School. Same high school former Stanford defensive lineman Aziz Chatou attended. First pitch off the hands. There's only one play, and that is to first for out number 2. But another run will come across as Owen Cobb scores. So there's an RBI for Jake Sapien. Be the first one of his career. Congratulations to Jake. And now Braden Montgomery will come up for the second time in this inning. Eddie Park now over at third. Natai is at second. 11-1 in favor of Stanford. And still 2 more runners in scoring position. The 0-1. Big swing and a miss. 0-2. It would be Malcolm Moore up next. Here's the 0-2. Up the middle. They had him positioned perfectly. He's throwing over to first. It is Johnson for out number 3. Stanford brings 5 more home. We go to the top of the 9th inning. Final hope for the Owls in game 1 of this doubleheader. They have a little bit of work to do. They're down 11-1. Getting ready for the top of the 9th, and please bear with me as we go over all these defensive changes for Stanford. Starting off over at first base, Jake Sapien stays in the game, and he will be playing at first. Coming into the game now playing at second base is Timo Becerra. At third, you have staying in number 15, Jimmy Natai. Henry Gargis comes in to play left field. And I believe that will do it. Still on the mound is Braden Montgomery, looking to finish things out, as he'll have to go up against Gallo Johnson and Smigelski pending any changes on the Rice side of things. First pitch, fastball, pop in the mid, but missing, ball one. Stanford has scored in 4 consecutive innings. And 2 of those innings, they put up a crooked number. But what might be the most impressive of all, you look at the job that this pitching staff has done. Up to this point, 1 run on 4 hits for Rice. And in that as well, it's 4 walks. 2-1, missing outside, 3-1. Gallo 1 for 3. Single in the 4th. Swing and a miss, late on the fastball, counts full. Two. Fly ball the other way. Campbell tracking under, 1 down. Max Johnson might be his last time to get a hit in this game. 0 for 3, the pair of strikeouts, 1 swinging, 1 looking. Infield for Stanford, the middle infielders playing on that edge of the outfield grass. One 0. Fastball outside, 2-0. USC was able to put 3 runs up in that top of the 8th. Now 8-6 game in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Oregon State has extended their lead. It's now 6-0 that in the bottom of the 4th. This foul back our way. Count even 2-2. How about the action that's just going on right next door to us? Stanford softball up against the Michigan Wolverines. They're up 5-0. And a swing and a miss. Montgomery gets him to chase. Another strikeout for Braden Montgomery, and now Rice is down to their final outs. It'll be Aaron Smigelski. Is 0 for 2, has drawn a walk back in the 2nd. In and on the hands. Will that stay up enough for Sapien? Yes, it will. And that will do it. Stanford, offensively, defensively, and on the mound, take care of business in game 1 of 2 today. The final score of 11-1. Your final numbers: Stanford 11 runs on 13 hits. They left 14 on base. For Rice, 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error. They left 7 on as well. The big number on the day for the Cardinals, there are 2 of them, with runners on base. Stanford was 9 of 27. First off, that's a lot of at-bats with runners on base. That's good for a 333 clip. Meanwhile, for Rice, they were 2 for 11 with runners on. With runners in scoring position, Stanford also hit 333 as well. They were 5 of 15, and Rice was not able to record a hit in 7 at-bats. The big bats at the plate for the Cardinal. First off, how about Owen Cobb? 5 of 4 today at the plate, including a double and a 2 driven in for him. Also multi-hit games for Eddie Park, who had 2 RBI as well. Tommy Troy, was 2 for 5. He brought in 3, 2 of those on a home run. And Drew Bowser, who scored 2 runs, drove in an RBI as well on his triple. Getting the win today, Joey Dixon. He went 3 2/3, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, with 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. Ty Huber, who was the starter today, only went 3 1/3, so he didn't qualify for the win, but went 3 1/3 of shutout ball and only gave up 1 hit. For Rice, losing pitcher is going to be Mauricio Rodriguez, so he'll fall to 0-1 this year. He went 3 2/3, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, both earned with 4 strikeouts and 3 walks. Your only multi-hit hitter for the Owls, as they went 4 for 31 at the plate, was Manny Garza. So that'll do it for Game 1 of the doubleheader. The second game will start right around 3:45. I believe Troy Clarity will be in here to have the call for that one. Always a blast when you get to listen to Troy call the balls and strikes here at GoStanford.com. Well, thanks for tuning in with me for Game 1 of the doubleheader. Again, I'm Jordan Watkinson for our phenomenal crew led by Ethan Cardoza. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy Game 2 in about 45 minutes. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Your final score here from Game 2 of the series and Game 1 of the doubleheader: Stanford 11, Rice 1.